Hey, this is Trust Oscar Mike Radio. It's a monumentous day for everybody here. You'll see him in a second. One, I get to meet a fellow hawker, a fellow 7222. That is rare. Marine Corps, awesome. But also, I'm going to flip to the front now. Over here we have Alayna Madden, Marine, Tom Brown, Marine, and Alayna made this flag for me. But, you know, we decided to have a little fun and put it up to raise money for what we raising money for here, Alayna.
Run to home base.
And Tom saw it on Facebook. He's like, I want that flag. I'm like, get out. And he's like, yeah. So Tom has some cool Oscar Mike Radio swag from Authentically American, but Tom is a fellow hawker. And you got this awesome flag, Tom. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. And when I seen the Hawk missile, I was like, you don't see that too often. Like you said, it's very rare to run into another
It's going to be 3 more.
Hawk missile fire control operator, especially over here on the East Coast. And since it's been out of, since they disbanded back in the 90s, I'm sure a lot of...
It's rare. It's rare. So, Alayna, tell us what you're doing raising money, because the proceeds from this flag go to your charity that you're supporting. What's that charity and what are you doing?
So the charity that I'm raising money for right now is Run to Home Base. Veterans Under 48 is my team. We're going to be raising money for the event in September. So I got into doing the flags or different items because everybody always asks for donations. You see them all the time online. And a couple years ago, my friend Anthony asked me to help him make the flags. I told myself I wasn't going to get too much into it. I would just help him one time with making the flags. A year later, I'm now making a little bit more detailed flags.
And Tom, I gotta tell you, you're getting the first one.
Nice.
And there will never be another one like that. I mean, while we're sitting here talking and I'm thinking back, what was your most memorable time being a hawk operator?
I would have to say we were out on a fire shoot one time, and just to witness a ripple fire of 3 Hawk missiles just taking off. They take off so fast, you see it take off, and then when it disappears, that's when you hear it. It was so fast.
Now, people have told me I'm full of it, but I'm like, no, that boom you hear, it goes off the rails, what we said, and you hear the boom. I said, that's it breaking the sound barrier.
Right.
Okay, so I'm not full of it.
No, you're not. No,
Thank you.
I believe that it left the launcher at around Mach 6.
Okay.
So that was
6 times the speed of sound.
the paint on the Hawk missile would actually fall off of it. It moved so fast.
Well, it's just for me, you never meet one of our kind. We're a rare breed. He also served in Charlie Battery, and it was just very cool. We decided to put this up. We decided to put this up and see what happens. And yeah, the missile's cool. Like the missile, Tom's going to be a part of a lot of the OMR gear coming out in the next couple of years, because it's a MOS. It's very unique. We're not really air wing. We're not really, grunts. We're something in between. Neither side liked us.
That's right. They didn't.
Why does anybody not like anybody that shoots missiles?
Well, the air wing didn't like us because we weren't really out on the flight line, and the grunts didn't like us because we really weren't out in the field all the time, playing war games and stuff like that. We were out in the desert, just on a compound, constantly working on these Hawk missile systems, and so we were like in between the air wing and the grunt side. So
I think when shit hits the fan, though, and someone says one of the Hawk missiles are going to come and save my butt.
Yeah. Well, the Hawk missile was really, it was never really used.
Right.
Never. Because if you think about it, there really is no foreign air force that could fly against us and basically attack us. Mm-hmm. And that's what the Hawk missile was used for, air defense. Mm-hmm. I was also, back in the 80s, I was on the Hawk Sparrow program. It's where they took an air-to-air missile and made a clip of Sparrow missiles, put them on a Hawk launcher, just for something else to do, and we did that back in the 80s.
Well, I just love this part. Seeing this come together, it was just an idea, and then seeing it, one, meeting a fellow hawker, and then two, seeing this flag, on your wall is going to be pretty cool. He has a very cool bathroom too, folks. And then knowing that the funds raised today are going to help your org out, Alayna, is just good, and more good. And we're all Marines. I mean, it's just a really like oorah moment right now. So I'm going to quit bugging them on the video. It's just a really cool moment. And thanks for checking in. And you can where can people find you online, Alayna?
Semper Fi Designs. I made a Facebook group earlier this year just so I could post all my work online.
And Tom, Semper Fi, brother, I just want to say thank you for your support, and I love that you love the missile and the stuff, and hope you enjoy the stuff from Authentically American.
Oh yeah, just I'm always looking for things that bring me back to the Hawk missile days. eBay had a couple of Hawk missile tie pins from Raytheon, and I bought one of those, and I just have some paraphernalia back from when I served, and I got those posters over there, and all the patches from the different Hawk battalions. There is a big contingent of Army Hawkers as well.
Yes, there are.
Yeah. So, and I never knew that existed back when I was in the Marines.
Well, they kept
Army
it separate.
Hawk, yeah, they did.
They kept
It was like a big secret.
Yep. Hey, well, when the missile leaves the rail, we say missile in flight and Hawk. The lieutenant or the captain or the general hits the fire button. The missile will launch. We'll say lock through launch and missile in flight, and the missile's on its way to do some harm. So, in Oscar Mike Radio, I say mission in flight. That's why I say it.
Yeah, very good.
Well, it's Travis Oscar Mike Radio. I'm with Tom Brown, Marine Corps veteran, Alayna Madden, Marine Corps veteran, owner of Semper Fi Designs. Cool thing here today, and just want to thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mission in flight. All right, we are headed home now. We just met Tom, Marine Corps, Hawker, 7222 in Charlie Battery, second LAM, not first. But we're headed back now, and I kind of wanted to pick Alayna's brain. She's going to focus on her driving, don't worry about that. But I kind of wanted to just ask her a couple questions about this experience because it was really cool. So, the flag you saw previously, that was supposed to be for me. Me! My flag. But she's like, well, yeah, I wanted something different. I'm like, okay. But then, like, what do I do with this? And we got to talking, and we're like, we're going to try to raise some money with it. So I said, okay, I'll do it. And I put it on Facebook. And literally 15 minutes later, Tom Brown hits me up and says, hey, I want it. I'm like, okay, we talk about it. And I'm like, look, man, I'll sweeten the deal. We're trying to raise money for the charity, which I'll let Alayna get to here in a second. And I'll throw in some Authentically American Oscar Mike Radio merch. And we'll meet up and do this. And so we just saw, as you saw in the video previously, the little clip previously, he loves a flag. But now, let's get behind the scenes and see what Alayna thinks. Alayna, you made this flag. Mm-hmm. We put it online. We just dropped it off because I can't freaking drive. What was that all like to you? What's this mean to have somebody really like your work that much and tell you their military story a little bit?
It's definitely exciting to sell a flag twice. That's always fun. No, it was definitely exciting. I didn't know much about the Hawk program because obviously it ended, I think, before I joined the military. But it's very humbling to be allowed into someone's home, to be shown their personal space, and to hear their stories and the memories that you brought out by simply creating something for them. And even though I didn't create it specifically for him, he said he saw it and he wanted it because it brought up memories of when he served. And he served when I was a baby. I was 1 year old when he joined in 85. So it's very awesome to be welcomed into someone's home, and they show you their home, which is a very private thing. A lot of people, you don't just get to go into people's houses and be shown the memorabilias and learn about their experiences. And I really enjoyed being able to go and bring this to him today. It was definitely something I'd like to do again.
Well, I'm hoping, I mean, if you're a hawker and you see the flag in the previous clip and the pictures, I hope that you'll hit up Semper Fi Designs, which is what Alayna started. And the cool thing is she's making this, she's not doing this as a side hustle. This is truly to raise money. Why don't you tell people about the charity or charities that you support, Alayna?
So right now, Veterans Under 48 is a hiking group in New Hampshire. They are doing Run to Home Base in September. So that's the organization that I'm currently raising money for. I'm also raising money for the Tough Rock, which is in October, for Military Friends Foundation. My friend Sarah Sweeney, she's the director. I also raise money for Give to Those. My friend Heather, she is the director of that as well. So when I started making flags, I had a Gold Star family member that asked for a design that I couldn't do because I didn't have my CNC machine at the time. And I felt horrible having to say, no, I can't make this design. So I invested into the CNC machine, and I still take all the proceeds from what I make, what I get out of these items that I make. And besides the cost of materials, just so I can continue to make the flags, goes towards one of those 3 charities.
Well, this is just awesome. I mean, I really like the fact that, you know, yes, the flag was to be for me. That's what it was. I'm like, this is because if you notice the missile, and we talked about in the previous clip, the missile and the homage back to Hawk and, you know, the Marines I served with in Hawk, I don't want it to be forgotten, right? I don't want it to be forgotten. And then, you know, she didn't like it. I mean, it's not that she didn't like it, but she wasn't in love with it. Is that accurate, Alayna?
I think every time someone makes something, they don't fully love it. They're always harder on themselves because it's not what you had in your head. Like, you have an idea, you know what you want it to look like, and then when you do it, there's always going to be things that you're like, well, I could have done this a little better, I could have done that a little better. I've only started making these items last year, so I'm still learning, and I'm always trying to make them better each time. So when I made it, I was like, I'm not completely in love with it yet, so I'd like to make another one. Either way,
I was like, I like it. It's totally fine. No, yeah.
You know, you have to be a perfectionist, but eventually you have to just be happy with it and stop changing things.
So we agree to disagree, and I'm like, okay, look, I'll meet you halfway because that was my flag. That was mine.
I'm working on another one. I'm working on your next flag already. The wood is cut.
So but we said, you know, we agree to disagree, and let's try this. Let's try to do something like really good and cool with this. And I'm like, okay, Alayna, I'll put it up and see if somebody will throw a donation to one of your charities and support what you're doing. And so if you are a hawker, and that is the 7222 MOS or the 59 like 34 series, those are the maintainers. But if you were an operator, fire control operator for the Hawk missile system made by Raytheon, and you want one of these, I'm going to have like the name of Semper Fi Designs in the show post. You'll be able to go to the group and get with Alayna and get yourself a flag and, you know, work on that. And you have to understand that all the money that you send her for the flag and the design and everything, after materials, goes 100% to these charities. And, you know, to me, it was a no-brainer. You know, I love Hawk. I love my MOS. I like doing the job. I love being a Marine. Hawkers there's not that many of us, as Alayna will tell, you know, figured out. There's not that many of us.
You're like a unicorn. You're like a CW05.
Right. So this is a way that if you're a hawker and you want to kind of keep the spirit and the story alive, you can. And then we're all Marines here, so, you know, hawkers are Marines. There's a lot of Army. If you're Army, she'll work with you. But, you know, if you're Marine, it's a no-brainer. So go to Semper Fi Designs, get with Alayna, raise some money, and put something on your wall that not only looks good, can also be used as a weapon.
Used as a weapon.
Well, right. Tell them what you did with one of your flags, Alayna.
Well, I wanted to test the durability of the flag, so I didn't do any design in the front of the flag. I put together as just a solid piece. I went up to my second floor window and I threw it outside the window, and I didn't just like gently toss it. I pretty much used it as a frisbee and just threw it out the window, and it didn't break. Didn't break. I did it a couple times and it did not break. Wanted to make sure if you're getting this that it's at least a solid piece of wood, so you could use it in a home defense situation.
See?
If you want to.
So you're supporting Marines, you're supporting veterans, you're supporting veterans charities, you know, keeping it right here in the U.S., and it can be a weapon. I mean,
Probably a flotation device too.
good, and more good. I mean, win all around. So, look, it's just a really cool part of the whole Asack Mike Radio experience. Really cool that people support, you know, what other veterans are doing, and you know, just a really unique story with a really unique MOS that, you know, I can, outside of the people I serve with, you know, this very rare I come across somebody who actually speaks Hawk and knows what it is. And it was kind of cool for that time to talk Hawk and talk shop for a little while, because, you know, Tom served at P111, so he went to the same place I did, and we played games in the same desert. So it's just very cool. Very happy to see this come together and support what Alayna's doing. You can too. Go to Semper Fi Designs, you know, look at the lower third. I've got it right here. No excuse. And as we say in Hawk, as we say at Asack Mike Radio, as we say in Hawk, missile in flight. Asack Mike Radio, we are mission in flight. Thank you, Alayna.
Thank you.